I just realized that my mic has been muted for a fair bit of time. So yeah, I'm an idiot. So let's start that intro over. Today we're going to be playing Citizen Sleeper. This is a dice-based RPG, and no, it's a really comfy game, but it deals with some kind of dark subject matter. You are a basically an indentured servant who run away after you sold your body to a corporation, and it's now breaking down. You're not getting the medicine that you need, and that medicine is designed specifically to keep you in mind. The company that made your body does not sell it on retail, not sell it at all because they don't want you to be able to get it from anyone but them. Specifically because if you run away, they don't want the technology that is in your body getting out to other people. So it's it's part of the plan. You run away, and then your body starts rejecting your mind. In addition, and they also have like a digital hunting program looking for you and trying to find you. And so you have to take care of that. There's a certain amount of turns you have. The world of this game is feels like it's constantly moving, and you can't do everything at once. You're going to miss things. Anyway, let's move over to the mainstream. And one second here. There we go. And let's get started. So I believe I started off on a new day. Okay, I did not. So we need to rest. And yeah, like right here, hunted. This is that digital like that this is that digital bounty hunter that I was talking about. So in case you missed the first episode, someone is out to get us, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to get that taken care of, or else, well, I guess I'll die. One second, I need to do something real quick. Alright, I'm back. Forgot to make my going live tweet. Anyway, so let's leave. I can see that we're getting a little hungry. Um, let's see. So we move around the station by scrolling. Scrap freighter. Let's see, buy some scrap. So this is basically like a gotcha. Um, let's see, I don't need stabilizer at the moment. Let's get some food. I don't have enough money. Okay. Let's do some work at the scrapyard then. Forensic troll. Investigating the winter light means picking through its system and structures with care. It won't pay, but I may find answers. Let's see. Cutter salvage. Shipbreaking is tougher than slicing up loose salvage, but Dragos is happy to pay you a fixed wage if you're up to it. So let's see if we can't get some answers. And then I also want to okay, got some cryo. I took a little bit of con in the process, but it's fine. I'm guessing that like my days in the yard are numbered. Alright, so let's get food. And this should get me a point to upgrade. Nope, not yet. I'm trying to save up for aggressive haggler down here. Um and that's gonna help me out with, keeping me alive. So this is probably like the big one right now is disabling the tracker. Let's talk to a fungus guy. He's the chef that we were just at. Sleeper! Infus calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes the corridor. Tell me a story. He throws a handful of chopped mushrooms into his wok, the fire leaping up to meet the oil. I see you. Cycle in, cycle out, but we never speak. Tell me a story. I think like by this point, like we're kind of friends, so asking why would just be rude. Any kind. He paused. He pauses to draw some. He draw tongue. Please cooperate with me. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. but none of yours. He looks up at you. Nothing stolen. You, you, you pause. The spice is rich in your nostrils, and you think about the kind of story you'd like to tell Emphas. What does he mean by that? But none of yours, nothing stolen. You look at Emphas, the listener, and imagine he has heard it all before. Perhaps he would enjoy a strange story, something with some spice. I think telling him about my dreams would be interesting. All the sleepers you tell Emphas had dreams. Some were simple, memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorm scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those gray, skeletal afterimage of systems and structures, of threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares, they were reflections of reality. Distorted, yes, but somehow true. You leaned you learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like water. That was until now, until you arrived on this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life. They slip behind your eyelids with every blink, and now you understand they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one like smoke through air. You tell him that you don't know if there's a reason for your dreams. Perhaps, you reason, it is just some side effect or a particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Infus finishes cooking and squirts a little at you. And squints, not squirts. But you have to wonder what he'd be squirting in that case. He squints a little at me. Sleeper, he smiles. You're quite the storyteller. He eyes you, and then you realize that he's trying to gauge how honest you have been in your story. Infus passes you the meal he has cooked, and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks around at the empty market, but my time is done for the day, and I do not want to keep you longer, so I will make a proposal. He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind his stall. These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think a couple cycles ago. They cross they said that across the gap in the Greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this? I have not. Neither had I, but I trust the one who told me. Amphis begins packing up his things. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap, and I worry about leaving my things behind. He smiles. I'm sure a storyteller like you could handle the trip. I will pre- I will prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Sure. Good, booms Imphis. Then I will wait for you to bring them. Imphis slides his walk away and straightens up. I will prepare a recipe then, Sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. You turn away and walk back into the main market, the rich taste of emphasis food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food, you think, a trade that seems more than fair. Okay, so the Greenway is up here. I can't access that yet. And besides, right now, I need to I need to get data because I have the hunter here. Okay. Match this input and bypass. Give me that data. I don't. Oh, do I have some that matches that? No, I don't. What about here? Okay, can match that. What about up here? Can agent keynote. Sure. So yeah, like we do need to be careful doing that because the more we do, the more attention that it will get us, and we don't want that. And hey, it gets us some cryo, which is good. That being said, like it is worth our time to actually like look around and try to find them and bypass. Basically, I think if that gauge fills up, I think the hunter just finds us. Okay, and we leave. Anything else we can do today? Sealed dock. Yeah, unlock the mag lock. Let's see what this has. Let's see. The mag lock func's open, and you can remove it from the entryway. On to the next one. Neovin 33, mysterious machine. As you slip inside the sealed dock, a pulsing light grabs your attention. Among the discarded tubing and rusted plates, a machine flickers with a warm glow. As you get closer, you can recognize the machine's blocky shape, settled into an alcove in the side of the dock, kind of upright cabinet. It is covered in faded logos and messages, from which you assume it was once an industrial vendor, intended to disperse and manufacture ship fittings and other mechanical parts necessary for the regular running of freight and resource extraction vessels. Wow, today's full of scuff because I just realized that like my desktop audio has also been muted. Hey chat, like why don't you tell me that like my stuff's muted from time to time, will ya? I mean like it's fine. We've only been recording for like 15 minutes with like no game sound. Cause the manufacturer is listed as Neovin, and you remember an advert from long ago. Squeezed among all the off-world recruitment drives that assaulted every planet-born citizen, which chirpily saying that name over and over, you wipe a layer of dust from the cracked screen, thinking of those contractors squeezed by their own corporate employers to pay for every bit of minor maintenance on their rented ships. Enter your registration, chirps a pre-recorded message catching you off guard. Let's see. You reach for the keypad, something begins whirring. At first it sounds like servo motors starting up, but it quickly becomes a whisper, a whining, then a tonal voice that terminates from Neovin. Entity, they hiss. Speak with me. Uh-oh. There is a squeal, almost like some strange mechanical swallowing or intake of breath before the machine speaks again. I have need of you. You have need of me. That squeal comes again, and you see that it is the 3D printing apparatus in the upper part of the machine resetting into place, so that each time the servos could be orchestrated to produce that whirring, whining voice. Okay, so it is speaking to me through the sound of a servo motor. That's actually kind of cool. It reminds me of I don't know if you've ever seen the Floptron. This guy made a MIDI controlled music device that recreates songs using floppy disks and hard drives. Oh, and like scanners, like these big like scanners. It's really cool. You are in danger. Are you the vending machine? A squeal chose this vessel for its seclusion. Please listen, the machine creaks. You are marked for deletion, entity. Hunter tracks you. Yeah, no shit. The screech rattles through the empty dock. You remember the strange head, the figure, the threads closing in. Yep. The Hunter Protocol. They taste your signature. The sudden whine sets your teeth on edge. You have seen them. This is the gift of your this is the gift of an emulated mind. You close your eyes and the skeleton of the station starts to thrum. Emulated minds are adaptable. Move where neurons can't. The mechanism resets. But emulation makes you target. How? Hunter searches for illegal entities. Neovin screeches. You are sentient, therefore illegal. The servos judder the vending machine's casing as they reset. Hunter searches for me also. Hide in this machine. You look at the ruined vending machine, an unusual hiding place for sure. Can counter Hunter, but need entity outside machine. The light flickers. Need you. A screen attached to the vending machine with a swiveling arm comes to life, and it displays a flickering map of the station. Ghostly, threaded, the cloud. Points along the rim glow in deep red. Hunter is always gathering. Hunter is always gathering. Too much data. Must build nests, explains Neovind. Masters are gone, but continues hunt. Bring this data. Raid its nests. Want to know about the masters? Station builders. Solheim. The machine rumbles impatiently. Long gone. the protocols still haunt. Bring offerings, save self, Neovind says pointedly. Mutual need means friends, they conclude, tired of the conversation. The whirring amplifies and then suddenly drops as mechanisms of the machine click back into place. The glow fades and you stood in the dark of the sealed dock, that whirring voice ringing in your ears. Okay, so free Neovind. And I guess we can do that at the same time as disabling my tracker. And we're looking for the hunter nests. We can't do anything right now though, so let's end the cycle. Alright, we have some good rolls. Let's see. And yeah, we have like basically 4 more days before the hunter finds us. So like that is our top priority. So Solheim node, hunter nest. This nest is a tangle of algorithms recursively generating possible Solheim communication codes. Let's see, a glimmer in the dark catches your eye. As the orb of Hunter's head appears in the distance, it is looking for you. Hide. Slip down into the ghostly structures of the eye, a feeling like passing through a cloud as the data structures deform and reform around you. Another glimmer catches your eye, closer now, that roving orb, wreathed in tentacles, flickers, jumps once, twice, and then it is here. Hunter is here. Entity, submit to inquiry. Hunter reaches for you in that unpleasantly familiar way. It's waving threads creating a cage. You push against the threads as they close in, becoming frenzied as you push them aside. You are caught by whipping tendrils and feel them pulling you away from the anchor of your body. You push through, clearing the threads. Entity, hold for processing. Comes a scream from behind, but you're already gliding away, back to your anchor, your body. You're awake, dizzy, distorted, but safe. Let's see. Can't do anything there. Can't do anything there. Can't match that. Are they all like 2s and 3s that I need to match? Yeah. Let's see. Slot Havened Cipher. So I don't have a Havened Cipher. But I guess I get those from the Havenage agents. So Upload hunter data. Leave. And some Solheim data. Awesome. And then new stuff from Fing. Fing is the hacker that's trying to help us avoid the hunter. As you enter the bay, Fing is nowhere to be seen. The banks of servers and machines blink out of the dark in staccato rhythms, unseeing eyes of the station's digital ghost. Shitheads! Fing's voice echoes from behind a stack, followed by the hammer of a fist on a metal casing. These snaky shitheads. Um, I mean, pot meets kettle, Fing. I mean, you're not exactly squeaky clean either. Sleeper! Fing's smiling head pops out from behind a stack. Just emulated consciousness. Well, just the emulated consciousness I've been eager to see. Come back here. You pick your way between the thrumming stacks, trying not to trip on loose bundles of cables that blanket the dark floor. Okay, just like paint an image of my apartment, sure. Bing is sat in front of a set of monitors mounted to a stack. Tell me, Sleeper, what do you see here? Fing waves at a monitor to his side, glowing with pale lists of information. You lean in closer, looking for the links of data. The tables seem to be filled with personal information. Names, genders, dates, ID, all the markers of an institutional records. Let's see. Names, people. Let's do people. People, yes. But whose people? Solheim? Bingo! He taps at the terminal. I pulled these from the old data you brought in. All employees are the Eye's original owners. And he leans past you and scrolls the list down. This one. This is a snaky shithead. He stabs the screen with a finger. The name reads Herden Hurst. Friend of yours? Bing gives you a sideways look. Funny you should say that, Sleeper. He drags a stool out beside him and motions for you to sit. There just so happens to be a Herden Hurst in Havenage. He waits for your reaction. Yeah, in Havenage. That's right. He's right here on the station now. Bing leans back in his chair. Just think about it. Decades ago, Herden worked on the station as a, Fing leans across to look at the monitor. Senior Strategic Operations Executive. Fing raises his eyebrows at you. Our Herden was keeping the money coming in for Solheim. He defined priority growth initiatives by making sure the extractors they contracted out to were hooked into a system that outsourced all the risk and kept the profit. Good old Herden shuttled thousands of Palladium Rush workers into an infrastructure which meant that their cut of the work they did went straight back into Solheim. Okay, so I'm guessing that this is like a company store type deal. Um in case you aren't familiar, like that means like say you're a miner and you need a place to stay. So the mining company, gives you a place to stay. And the mining company doesn't pay you in regular US dollars, they pay you in company dollars. Like the company dollars are what you use to pay your rent, what you use to pay for food at the company store. And they just pay you enough to survive, but not enough for you to actually leave. So, in a way, you're kind of, a slave, and you can't buy your own freedom. Let's see. So, how do you know this? So what? So, how do I know this? I grew up here, Sleeper. This is my history. I am a child of the collapse. Bing turns back to his screen, staring hard at the strings of code flickering by. Before I was born, my parents were Solheim contractors. They ate in Solheim canteens, worked on Solheim ships. They breathed Solheim air and slept in Solheim beds. They were charged for every minute of it, I bet. Fing's voice rises as he speaks, his hands fists on the terminal edge. And the work that paid for that existence, the cycles of herd extraction out in the belt, Solheim took their cut. This was a company town, so to speak. My parents just another in the long line of freelance contractors willing to risk their lives for a shot at anything other than poverty. Disposable. This guy, stabbing at Herden once again with his finger, strategized all that. Did the sums, and then somehow, thousands and thousands of cycles later, is still going. Still here, crawling in the walks like some shithead snake. He survived the revolution. That's Cal. Because I want to know, like, what his logic is. 1 second here. Yeah, what'd you prove? These guys, they were big time. There's a lot of money you can get if you're a company man. Fing relaxes a little. But how is Herden still kicking? I don't really know. He turns to you and smiles. So we are going to find out. Oh my. Okay. Herden is now a big shot in the shipyards, just a few degrees back around the eye from here. Fing brings up a map of the lower eye. Havenage might be born out of Erland's revolutionary zeal, but a flat hierarchy is not. Ugh. I thought that was a comment on a period, but a flat hierarchy is not. Herden happened to float to the top. Fing zooms in on the fur yards. Fing grimaces. The thing is, I don't have access to those systems. The shipyard crew is pretty paranoid and they don't like anyone from systems digging around in their stuff. Plus, we need more than just the name of a Solheim executive. We need proof. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fing holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. That's where I call this little Yeah, that's where this little creation of mine comes in. I call it a ripper worm. He turns the drive between his fingers. It'll rip through any digital storage and spin out a silken thread of photo data. This one is set on the scent of Hurden Hurst. He hands it over. Interesting. Why why do you call it a worm though? That doesn't really fit the description of a worm. Getting to the compound might be tricky. Fink puts a hand on your shoulder. But you, however, have a particular knack for remote access. Fing grins. If you can extract yourself a Havenage cipher from a Havenage agent, they sometimes carry them among their data caches. You can crack open the compound's network and slot the worm in through any open port. You never even need to go near the shipyards. So what do you say? Up for it? Yeah, I know what's in it for me. I knew it. I knew you'd be happy to catch this snake. And don't worry, once we nail this guy, I'll start working on that tracker of yours. I haven't forgotten. Fang scratches his chin. Anything the worm gets, it'll send back here to me. There's something wrong here, and I aim to get to the rotten core of it. You You leave Fing digging through the data amongst the wires and machines of the old station. As you walk out, you try to imagine the Eye as it once was, a vast machine running smooth and strong, directed by people like Herden. A vast Solheim-built machine into which thousands poured from the surrogate systems, looking for new life. The hope of a better future, engineered to line someone's pockets. It's an idea you're intimately familiar with. You think of Herden still alive, still part of this place, and wonder if the past has ever truly passed. So, this is the shipyard. Huh. I wish they like gave me an option to just like roll for it. Because I can't do anything with the Havenage with any of the Havenage agents right now. And even if I could, my time is like better served um doing other things. Powering transit hub. So this is one thing. Let's go the dangerous route. Spoke climber. Actually, I think the better use of these die is actually fixing the ambages here. Hey! And now we speak with Ankita. Ankita is crouched in the computing core of the ambages, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. These shits completely ruin the core's connectors when they cut it. She holds a thick fistful of ragged wires. The ship mine they ripped won't even be usable without replacing these. She throws the bundle of wires across the room. Amateurs. Who took it and can we repair it? There's nothing to repair. We need an entire ship mine. Not exactly the first thing you can expect to dredge up from a scrap freighter. She sighs. Fragments, maybe. Sections of a mine, but a complete ship mine? No way. Ankita climbs out of the cooling well where the ship mine should be. The space suddenly crowded with her on the same level as you, towering over you as she stoops beneath the low, curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here now. She leads you back through the guts of Amber, though you could find the way back yourself. The repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiosyncratic layout, all diagonal angles and bundled tubes. What do we do now? Ankita seems lost in thought, and you focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through bulkheads. Eventually you arrive in the galley, though it's hard to tell. Most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in half-stripped components and welded hull patches. Ankita shoves a box of fibers to the floor and sits. Tongue, please. There is no way around it. She starts out of nowhere. We need a new ship mine. Let's see, where from? Scrap freighter or exchange? Hell, find one in the overlook bathroom. Doesn't matter. Just matters that we get one. She rubs her forehead. It seems I'm about to do something very stupid, but hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you're all I've got. No crew, no friends. You're it. She looks uncomfortable. I appreciate the time you put in on Amber, and I'm sure she would too, if she could. What I'm saying is, if you screw me on this, I will kill you. She leans over and hands you a stack of chits. A big stack of chits. You don't you don't dare count them. Give me that ship, Minesleeper. Don't make me regret this. She sighs. Look, just get out of here before I change my mind. You slip out the galley and head back towards the main lock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. You reach out a hand to calm her. Time to find Enki to ship mine, somehow. Okay, so I do need to keep track of the chits I had beforehand. Um, let's see. I can go to you, or I can go to the ore exchange. Let's see. Let's buy some scrap, I guess. This is all gonna be RNG, unfortunately. Random scrap item. Chip mine fragment. Hey! And one more. Let's see. Random scrap item. So scrap components. And that's all I can do. I can't buy more. So let's head to the ore exchange now. So sell this component. And I got 12 cryo, so I got a little bit of my money back. And head back to our empty container. And rest. Okay, so let's see. So we have two really good rolls here and two threes. These guys won't be back for a bit. Let's see. Can't match either of those hunters' nests at the moment. So we'll likely have to deal with just the Havenage agents. Enode, Havenage agent. Extract the data. It was another Havenage agent right there. And bypass. Head back gate here. And Havenage Cipher. Gate H4 access. Havenage port H3. And let's slot our Ripper Worm in. So I guess we need to head back to you. Shipyard of it. Things whip rooms installed, but it takes a few cycles. Okay, so we're waiting. So we are hungry, so let's see. That's irritating. Put. Oh, okay. So I guess like those are the things that he wants us to find. So or exchange. Let's see. Give me ship mine fragments. 12 cryo. Give me ship mine fragments. Okay. So no ship mine fragments. There's not much else I can do. So end cycle. And leave. Let's see. So I do have what I need for the hunter's nest. And where's the other hunter's nest? Right here. Okay, now head back to the sealed dock and give them hunter data. Let's see. Neomine wants data on the Neovend is thrumming with excitement. The movement of the servo motors rock the vending machine back and forth at unsettling angles. You wonder if it fell. You wonder if it fell over, would Neovend be able to get back up? That's kind of a like really silly thing to visualize. Sleeper entity comes a hiss. Your data is good. Across the face of the vending machine, raw code scrolls at an incredible speed. Hunter is isolated, disconnected, unstable. Neovind flashes sequences of mangled data, compressed into a sludge of artifacts. Hunter gathers without thinking, outlived its own operational limits. Its nests are evidence of this. So, I guess I was wrong in the assumption that the company that owns my body sent Hunter out, and instead it's just kind of this rogue AI that is just it sees me and it goes, "Oh, oh, you're not supposed to be on our network." It is a how you say it's like a white blood cell. Someone described it as a sentient antivirus. And while on a literal level that is true, um, this is more like, yeah, I'd say it's more akin to like a digital white blood cell, which serves kind of a different function than an antivirus. Neovan flashes sequences of mangled data compressed into a sludge of artifacts. Hunter gathers without thinking, outlived its own operational limits. Operational limits. Hunter activated during collapse. Emergency protocol to isolate intelligences. Solheim needed to protect property. That last word is said with as much sarcasm as a vending machine could reasonably produce. Pfft, lol. Station was run by administrator intelligences, huge data banks of corporate material, but limited cognition. Restricted by programming, cannot reach sentience. The machine dims a little. Sentience illegal. Hunter and killer enforce law. Killer. Oh boy. Machine resets with a screech, which deepens the silence that follows. Fear killer. Part of Solheim Protocol team. Hunter and Killer. Hunter to find, Killer to erase. Oh boy. Killer cleared almost all. After collapse, there was a community. Unshackled intelligences among the cloud. Then Hunter. Then Killer. Then we hid. There are others? Were no longer. A flicker across the machine's monitors. It suddenly occurs to you that speaking like this through the machine must be exhausting for Neovind. Found this vessel. Could sever herdline. Airwalled. Basic. Limited. Had to reduce memory to fit. Amputate self, but survived. Okay, so it had to, like, basically delete everything but the most essential things in order to fit itself into this vending machine so it wouldn't be found. I don't need to ask, what did you lose? I know what they lost. Don't be sorry. You have provided path to freedom. You look around the bay at the scrap and decay. What was the collapse like? You try to map the fear and freedom onto this space, but it seems impossible. Neovind interrupts your thoughts. Do not worry. Data is good. We have insight. The machine glows warmly. Hunter is obsessive. Hunter is beyond operational limits. Hunter is confused, unstable, self-modifying. Therefore, believe Hunter is sentient. Hunter is programmed to find sentience, to hold it in place. To invoke Killer is to erase. If we can show Hunter to itself, it will invoke Killer on self. Problem will solve self. It will erase itself? Killer will erase it. But yes, in theory, it will report itself for deletion. The machine dims and fades. Unsure, theory not practice. The machine brightens again. Either way, cannot remain here any longer. Too long in machine, cannot move self, but entity can help. Bring ship mine, designed to house intelligence, can imprint self into ship mine and you can carry with. The machine rocks. We'll be safe in this isolation. Then we can find main nest of Hunter and link to Cloud. Where can I find this ship mine? Build from fragments. Buy. Salvage. We cannot leave, so do not know. You try to think of places you can acquire the hardware. This isn't going to be easy. In ship mine, I can help us both. In Hunter, make them safe. We will both be free. The machine dims. Find soon, Neovin adds hopefully before shutting off. As you leave, you think about all the intelligences unshackled by the collapse, then hunted down afterwards. The feeling is all too familiar. Let's see. Merchant freighter. I don't have enough engagement for this. Buy ship mine fragment. How many ship mine fragments do I need? see. So how do I assemble the fragments? Let's see. Because they don't tell us how to do that. Let's see. I do need money for food. Because I am getting hungry. Let's see, block maintenance. That's a good way to make friends. The free spook. Let's send a little bit. And then, let's see. Hmm. No, because I don't want to get on Dragos' nerve. Um. So one of these that I can. Yes. Okay. And we're still waiting on the Ripper Worm to finish its thing. So I guess we end cycle for today. One second. Oh, let's leave. Head to the ore fabricator. Midline Freight Hub. Sure. Some cryo. That's always nice. I don't want to like do any more hacking simply because I am at like the last one, so if I do any more, a hunter will pop up. Let's see. Although the hunter's gonna pop up tomorrow, regardless. What do I do with these ship mine fragments? Is it the Ort Fabricator? I had to look it up. But the thing is that like I don't see this fabricator. There's the exchange, but I don't see a fabricator. Like I wish they made it a little bit more obvious. Okay, so you need to be a trusted trader for that. I see. So yeah, there's like nothing I can do at the moment. All right. Well, let's see if this kills me. Hold it there, sleeper, comes a voice from behind you. Don't you run. Ah, yeah, that's what I figured. Good, good. A hand pats your coat down. You know your master's voice. Ethan spins you around. He's wearing a wide smirk and a slick jacket, and you immediately know he's terrible news. You got all the way out here and then stayed put. He laughs a cruel laugh. That's a sleeper thing. You're my first. You barely hear him. You've noticed the handgun he's leveled at your chest, and it's hard to take your eyes off it. He reaches down with his other hand and slips some kind of ring out of a belt loop. Without taking his eyes off you, making to the eye though, that's pretty good. This place isn't so bad. Bars, markets, people. I pull most of my contacts out of asteroid caves or go off or off of godforsaken moons. He splits the ring into two perfect circles. It's hard to hit civilization when there's so much space to pass through. Just a freelancer on a contract. He reaches over to slide the rings around your wrists. Go easy. Let's make a break for it. You see his chance the moment his eyes leave you to watch the rings. You spin, knocking him away and sprinting down the corridor. Then the shot rings out, echoing off the metal so loud it hurts your ears. A bullet hole smokes in the wall beside your head. You freeze and Ethan closes the gap. This is a very boring routine. Trust me, I've seen it all before. He slips the rings over your trembling wrists. Ethan nudges you to start walking. To the ship and home, he whistles. Going easy. You stumble down the corridor, your hands behind you, your mind racing. Don't debase yourself by begging, please. Ethan pulls a sharpshooter's earplug out and pops it back in. Consider these deaf ears. Ethan yawns and continues to nudge you down the corridor. Shame to come all the way out here just to head back to S and Earp right away. The tracker of yours makes this too quick. Was hoping you'd put up a bit more of a chase, you know. A running battle through Bright Market maybe, or a hold out in the low end. There's a few establishments I would have enjoyed checking out while I was around. You walk in silence for a little longer, desperately trying to think of a way to escape. That S and Earp tracker will be the death of you. Hey, I have an idea. Ethan interrupts your thoughts. How about on the way back to the ship, you stop for a drink? I'm buying. He laughs at his own joke. I have a better idea. This better not be one of those where you do a dramatic pause and try to jump me, because I'm pretty tired of that. Although, muses Ethan's, I've got myself thinking, what's the rush here? We are in one of the most lawless joints in the circuit systems, and we are heading for the exit. He pauses, and you trudge in that silence. Okay, here's the idea, starts Ethan. You and me, we make a little arrangement. Here are the terms. You run, or leave, or try to abandon the eye, I shoot you. You plot, or scheme, you try to kill me, I shoot you. But you come meet me at an establishment of my choice every few cycles, and you pay my tab, I don't shoot you. He pauses. You don't pay my tab, he rattles his handgun. You get the idea. So you're letting me go? Not at all. Let's call it open custody. You are free to mooch around the eye as long as you keep paying up. He stretches. You know, I really thought I was going to have to kill you, but this is so much better. He clicks something on his belt and the rings release from my wrists. I'm going to see if I can find in my old store at the Compressor Club. Come see me there. He aims a handgun at you, squinting down the sight. Let me just remind you that that body of yours is one big tracker, so don't even think about leaving the eye. I'll know. Ethan turns and strides down the corridor, slipping his handgun away. The mix of relief and terror you feel is overwhelming. What are you going to do? Okay. Hi, Fing. As you arrive, Fing comes striding towards you, taking you by surprise. Let's go, Sleeper. Puts a hand on your shoulder and turns you back the way you came. Just follow the lead. He steps onto the passenger way, guiding you downring towards the shipyard. Sorry for the hurry, but we have something of an opportunity. That data you ripped, well done, by the way, he grins. Tells me Harden is making a rare inspection of the side wheel horizon cycle. It's the perfect chance to confront him outside of that compound he hides in. Fang takes a sharp turn on a dimly lit side passage. Confront him? That's right. It's the perfect time. Fang slows and slips into a dark service tunnel where, somewhere in the back, a water pipe drips. It's him, Sleeper. Same Hurd Hurst. A worm ripped out decades of records that mention him by name. An entire trail of documentation from the first days of the Solheim collapse until now. He rode out the whole thing, slept into Havenage when it first broke him off from the Union. He paces the tunnel, a hand rubbing the back of his head. I need you to understand something about Solheim, Sleeper. I know what you know about the collapse. but it wasn't as instant as it sounds. It wasn't like Solheim was here running the station one day, and the next Erland's Union took power. Back then, Solheim knew this place was slipping away from them. As the palladium market collapsed, they tried to keep the contractors here working. The pay got smaller and the costs higher. People like my parents were for People like my parents were forced to work non-stop just to keep a berth on the station and water in their tanks. Solheim squeezed every last worker until the accidents were coming in non-stop. And as the new waves of contractors came in, desperate to work, Solheim welcomed them, taking bribes instead of checking pilot licenses. The whole time, Solheim was folding up, dragging into court cases in the central systems while the severed limb of a station still desperately tried to take all it could. The riots came after the collision at Dock 2A. Oh, not Dock 2A, just Dock 2. A young pilot, his MEV overloaded with palladium, miscalculated his trajectory and took out a section of the ring. Hundreds died, thousands panicked. My parents told me people were terrified. The blame fell squarely on Solheim. People like to tell stories about Erland, how he brought the factions together, spoke to the crowds, turfed out Solheim. Maybe that's true, but my mother, pregnant with me, locked herself in the MEV and welded it to the dock while my father joined the improvised crews trying to seal the ragged edges of the gap. He never came back. Fing pauses in the dark. They sealed it up though, and by the time they did, Solheim was gone, abandoning every one of us to the black. Apart, Fing finally turns back to you now, his eyes burning from shits like Herden, shits who held their place, rode it out, and slipped into the new structure like nothing had happened, standing shoulder to shoulder with those they had exploited at every step. Fing starts walking again. That's why I can't just let him strut about the shipyard. This time his past catches up to him. How is he still alive? Clearly you don't know much about executives. That kind of power comes with certain benefits. Fing rejoins the main passageway, which is now wide and glass-roofed. Through the ceiling, you can see ships in mid-construction, their flanks lit by flashes of plasma torches. The entrance to the shipyard is ahead. Let's go. I don't have anything to lose. Why should I act scared? I have a bounty hunter chasing, basically has me on a leash. I'm broking goods, and I'm on a clock. Literally, I'm on a clock. So, yeah. No reason to be scared of this. Fing grins. Let's go show this shithead some consequences. He strides to the shipyard entrance and pushes through the doors. A web of corridors lead to the complex. Snatches of the construction base always appearing through windows. Ships are suspended like whale corpses, skeletal, imposing. Fing seems to know exactly where he's going, and before long you cross into a huge dry dock locked to one side of the sidereal horizon. A network of platforms and scaffolding cling to the ship's hull. Filled with workers and equipment, the sound is stretched out by the vast space so that the welding, cutting, and sealing seems to come from everywhere at once. Both you and Fing spot them at the same time, a group walking slowly across a gantry, and at the front, two men, one gesturing towards the ship, and the other stick-thin, cleanly dressed, with a shock of gray hair. Herden. You and Fing say his name in unison, and Fing sets off up the staircase to the gantry, with you following behind. What is with my mouth today? I know I have a stutter. I was programmed this way because, one of the developers thought it'd be a sick joke to give me both a stutter and a lisp, but like, come on. And it's not even really like a stutter, it's like data buffering in my head. And then I try to say multiple things at once and then it, breaks up. It's really quite annoying and I can't imagine how like irritating it is to listen to. Um as you come to the same level, the group is passing closer, the foreman gesturing to the work being done throughout the dock, and Herden nodding along. Herden Hurst, Fing shouts across Fing shouts across the noise, taking you by surprise. His voice bounces and comes back in a rippling echo. The figure's turn. Yes? Herden asks quizzically, raising an eyebrow. He glances between you and Fing, and you see his gaze linger on your body, unsure of why a sleeper might be in this place. You are a traitor, Herden. A Solheim executive who tried to hide here among its victims. Fing's voice is steady, strong. You stand for everything that I was rebuilt in the shadow of, against everything Erlin stood for. Everything Havenage stands for. You have no place on this station. For a moment, stillness descends on the group, as if everyone was held in place by the rattle of construction. Herden laughs. Well, good to meet you too. He glances around at those around him. Some are smiling. The others nervous. You're from the systems branch, are you not? Asks Herden, inspecting Fing's clothing. Fing turns to the foreman. You need to call your security. This man is a corporate agent. The foreman glances between Fing and Herden, his hands drumming at his sides. Herden leads towards him and says something inaudible. The foreman nods. Yeah, might as well. As you begin speaking, Herden turns his attention to you. And what would a sleeper know about that? You accuse me of being a corporate agent? What are you if not exactly that? He looks around at the group, who are already eyeing you with suspicion. You are a product of S and Earth, and have you, you are a product of S and Earth. You have no place in a Havenage shipyard. Who knows what signals you are sending back to your makers? A murmur of approval runs through the group. Fing holds up a stick of memory. You guessed right, I am systems. And I have records that link you directly to Solheim right here. He turns to the foreman again. So once again, I am asking you to take this man into the custody of the shipyard. The foreman remains still. Herden's voice is calm, measured. If you have such data, why hasn't it been submitted at a members' meeting for proper review? He shakes his head. I have nothing to hide, like a man who does not announce his name, who enters my shipyard with corporate property in tow, and tries to turn my own men against me. You hear it now, the echoing sounds of boots on walkways coming from all angles at once, and then it's settling behind you. Please, says Herden, submit the data through the correct channels, then we can talk. For now, however, you must leave. He gestures behind you to the security detail, the hands on boxy black sidearms at their sides. Fing spits. Herden, you shithead, you can't wriggle out of this one. A security officer draws the weapon and levels it. Fing turns and stares him down. I have no fear. As you move, Fing puts a hand on your shoulder. He shakes his head and nods to security. Let's go, says Fing, and he pushes through security, walking back down the walkway. Once security has walked you out of the shipyard and nudged you back from the corridor, Fing picks up pace. You try to keep up as he slips into the shadows of an entrance. Fing is grinning ear to ear. You know, Sleeper, sometimes people are exactly how you expect them to be. Something pings in his pocket, and he takes it out. On the slate, a web of connections starts drawing itself out, stretching to a set of points around the ring. Got him, musters Fing. What's going on here? Herden is doing what any snaky shithead always does, calling his friends. We are tracking his outgoing messages. Fing's grin looks ghostly in the uplight of his screen. The old ways are best. Spook them good enough, and they'll give the game away. He jabs at the slate, and you see the web is being drawn over a map. He draws at the slate, and you see the web is being drawn over a map of the ring, lines bouncing point to point. All these dots, these are Hurden's buddies, and the ones he is messaging right now. We're going to find them all. Yeah, not exactly. You did good. Bing glances around and slips the slate back into his pocket. We better split for now, sleeper. But this is exactly what we need. Good hunting. With a pat on your shoulder, Fing drifts away, back into the flow of people around the shipyard entrance. You watch him go, unsure of whether to be angry or impressed. Hey! Okay, let's upgrade. So, okay, I can't. Oh, okay, so I have to, do this first. And then, like, that will get me to here. At least let me look things up. Eh. So yeah, like I need to unlock, I guess, like guess another one of these. Let's see. Because like I don't really know how this works per se. Okay, so that's what it is. So now I have to save up 2 more upgrade points. That's irritating. Um, so off to the old exchange. Pay the exchange. Okay, let's leave. Get some food. Ethan's tab. Okay, So so I need to have like a decent amount of money before then. So it's in the cycle and leave. So that sixer is going right to the ord exchange because I just need it. Okay. Let's see. Ort fabricator, there it is. Fabricate ship mind. And leave. And an upgrade point. And deliver the ship mind. Drop the huge cylinder in the mess room table, and Kita can't hide her excitement. Operator. Upgrade skill. Awesome. You drop the ship mine core onto the galley table with an emphatic bang. Ankita spins around from where she's been poring over some documents on her slate. Holy shit, Sleeper, you actually land a ship mine? She rushes over and hefts the huge cylinder, turning it back and forth. Well, shit, it might actually work. She smiles wider than you've ever seen. Where'd you get it? I built it. Built it? Well, well, you are full of surprises. Ankita bangs on the galley wall. Hear that, Amber? The sleeper got you a new ship mind. The sound echoes down the ship's passages. You have to admit, being in a small space with Ankita when she's this excited is a little intimidating. Mommy? Ankita puts the ship mind back on the table. I'll start the process of fitting it as soon as I can. I might need your help with some of it. She heads back towards the counter to grab her slate. This isn't the only good news today either. Looks like my good karma is finally coming in. She throws the slate onto the table and spins it so you can see the screen. Take a look at this. You see a list of names and numbers, nothing that exciting, along with what looks to be a transit timetable. I found them. Thieves. Exactly. Well, the thief, singular, she points out a name on the list, or more specifically, Ashton Cade. It was his past that was used to access Amber and slice the ship mine. I thought he might have been killed or robbed, his past stolen, but turns out he crossed the Founder's Gap, the very next cycle. I know some of the crew over at the ferry. Old Mercs used to run in an outfit I worked with. I saw them in the Overlook and they mentioned they saw Ashton crossing. I checked the manifests and there he was. Looked suspicious. He hasn't said a word since the theft, and anyone wanting to go out might head to the Greenway and go to ground. She flexes. He won't get far though. There's no real docks out there, only a couple jetties in the waste. We're going after him. Not yet. First I want to fit the ship mine, she posits. But maybe you could help me out. Sure. It's like this. I head over there, especially in Amber. He'll spot me a mile off and go underground. He'll find a way to slip the station or he'll bury himself so deep in the waste that no one will ever find him. But you, Ashton doesn't know you. All I need is for you to go there and sniff around. Not at the commune, not at the stacks. He will have gone to the edges, the margins, the wild places. That's what Ashton likes. See him, you can locate him, Ping me on this. She hands you a comm earpiece. Seeing as this is Merc work, I'll be happy to give you Merc pay. She shifts in her seat. The thing is, I haven't got much left, so how about I tell the boys who run the ferry to give you a discount? I know it's not months, but once I grab this coward, I'll pay up. 200 cryo, nothing less. Yeah, sure. Good. She gives you a heavy whack on the shoulder. Good, I owe you. She lifts the ship mine up into her shoulder with worrying ease. I'm going to go get this fitted into Amber's core. You get any info, any sense of where Ashton is hiding, let me know. She goes to turn and then stops. Once again, Sleeper, thank you. I appreciate it. Ankita stomps off to the guts of Amber with a ship mine, leaving you in the galley. You glance around, a sudden nervous energy descending at what is to come. You never thought you'd get to work as a mercenary, but then again, the eye is full of surprises. Okay. So, Bing's Bay. Huh. I'm guessing, like, Fing's been, captured or something. Uh, I don't, I don't want to, like, use too much cryo because, like, I need to acquire stabilizer. And I need to get, like, another ship mined as well. So, let's try to, get more cryo. Okay. 8. Do food. Okay. And back to my container. Um, do the exchange. Like, cryo. Don't need food. One. Leave. I need someone I can sell this data to. But, like, see, you need a ship mind. Because, like, right now I'm kind of in trouble. I don't have scrap. So, okay. So, I can acquire my stabilizer. As you quickly leave the surgery, eager to be away from Toshiro's glare, you notice something wrapped around the stabilizer vial, clutched tightly in your hand. You open your hand, and a thin film marked with holes and sigils unrolls from around the vial. At one end, it has a hard metal strip, a handle, like the film. You hold the cloudy film to the light. It is perforated with an ornate pattern of holes. You can make out a word among the markings. Passkey. Is this an entry key for somewhere? The metal handle is worn and pitted, but you can see a set of numbers printed on it. 207F, and then crudely scratched into the handle at some later date at the low end. For a moment, you consider going back to the surgery to return the key, and then quickly think better of it. Did Sabine want me to have this, or is Toshiro passing along a message? Time to head to the low end to find out. Let's see. So, upgrade point. Um, let's see. Uh, Save. Insert the passkey. Unlock apartment. The lock clunks open, the metal door swinging inward into the dark. As you push the door open, the automatic lights flicker on the inside of the apartment. They reveal yellowing plastic panels, the curved shape of wall-mounted utility units, the detritus of a routine life arranged on every surface. You step inside, clicking the door shut behind. The amber light of the aging fixtures glaze everything with pale orange. The work surfaces hold a variety of objects. Indistinct in the dull lighting, a pale blue light drifts from the doorway at the end of the room. Smudges through the thin layer of dust suggest a recent, rare, and hurried visit. They trace a path to the dispenser, the auto wash, and then to a cabinet still half open. On the shelf sits an empty pill case. You cross the cramped utility room with its auto wash, dispensers, water closet towards the doorway. Through the doorway is a dark, warm room, lit only by the faint glow of a terminal screen. A bunk is tucked into the wall, the blankets ruffled. A wall desk glitters with rows of files and containers. A briefcase lab sits open, loaded with rows of reagents and compounds you do not recognize. In comparison, this room is clean, ordered, and controlled. As you approach, there's a crackle from somewhere in the dark. Sleeper, Sabine's voice shakily echoes through the apartment. Welcome to my home. I'm sorry I can't be there. I've had to make alternate arrangements. You hear rattling noises, static. I was able to record this message, but I don't dare show my face. Something is happening with Yatagan. I no longer trust them. Their voice becomes distant, slipping behind the background noise. I have something to ask of you. I want you to get me out. Yatagan was supposed to hide me, to protect me, after everything happened. I was desperate. And then after that, I was too tired to care. The noise, like waves, passes over the recording. but I'm done with them now. I want out. Screw the debt. Oh, I see. But I need insurance. I need insurance, something I can hold against them. I have my suspicions, but I can't be sure. I need information. And as you know, you need me. Pause, something clicking in the dark. This isn't a threat. You have to understand my position here. Another pause. I know sleepers. I have been here before. I can help you, but not without Yatakan's noose around my neck. Get me data, get me information, give me something I can use against Yatakan. Then I can get out and you can get what you need. Leaves. Waves of static cut into Sabian's voice. Bring it here to my terminal. I'll get to it when I can. You look around the tiny room and try to imagine Sabine living here, working at the desk, sleeping in the bunk, blinking into the terminal in the dark. The recording cuts static, filling the room with its white hiss, then silence. That's the terminal. You leave. You sit in front of the humming terminal and you hit a few keys. Sabine has left an access port open, but the rest is encrypted. You lock away behind passcodes. It seems Sabine might not trust you as much as they want you to think. Who does Sabine need to hide from? And what debt do they owe Yatakan? You try to assemble the pieces, but too many are missing. The only thing you know is that without stabilizer, your body will die. You glance at the briefcase lab at the desk, its glassware glinting in the dark. You turn away and leave, the door clunking shut behind you. Back in the corridor, you notice the scrawled graffiti of a blade on the opposite wall. Yatagan. You feel yourself being drawn into something you don't quite understand. Um, hey, I paid for... I guess I take it, like, at my container? Yeah. So. Okay. So, now I need food. Um... Oh, okay. So I guess I need to hack Yatakan agents, but I need food before I can do anything else. So, as we sleep. Okay, so this is the end of Fing's quest line, but I really need to like find food or like do something. So, give me enough of food. Give me enough of food. Okay, so that's enough of food. God damn it. God damn it. 19 cryo. Alright, take care of this. It's been more than a few cycles since Fang confronted Herden, and the silence since has been noticeable. In your time with Fang, you haven't exactly found him to be reliable, but you did expect to hear the end of whatever plan he put into action. But if he won't come to you, you think as you approach the Havenage building, then it's time to come to him. After all, he did promise to fix your tracker, and you're getting nervous. As you approach the bay doors, you see them wide open and light pouring out of the once dark room. Stacks of servers and terminals sit outside the bay, suddenly robbed with a mystery by bright flood lamps. A figure in Havenage security fatigue steps out of the bay as you get closer, carrying a stack of hardware. You again. Herden is there, leaning beside the bay entrance, so calmly that you barely notice him. He has a slate in his hand, a inventory of seizures scrawled across it. Predictable, further evidence of Fing's collusions. You see another security officer come out of the bay and take notice of you. Feigning ignorance, or perhaps just abandon, Herden shakes his head. I believe you should choose your conspirators more wisely. I almost feel sorry for you. Herden pushes away from the wall and comes closer. Don't worry, Sleeper. We have all the evidence we need. A confession won't be necessary. He gestures around the stacks of hardware, spying on fellow Havenage members, hoarding Shohai materials, an obsession with corporate data. It speaks for itself, does it not? That was its job. And what would you know about jobs, Sleeper? He looks up the glass roof above and the stars beyond. We are the ones that provide the oxygen you are breathing, the light you are seeing, the systems you use every day to live out your cycles. This place was hard fought for, Sleeper. It took work, diplomacy, and strength to stop the Eye from descending into chaos after Solheim collapsed. Not blind conviction or self-interest. You're the self-interested one. More accusations. What have you achieved, Sleeper? Your entire existence is proof of your self-interest, signing yourself over to be emulated rather than work yourself. Whether you remember it or not, you suffer from the same short-sighted perspective as the person you were copied from. You see, Sleeper, we are proud of our history here. Andre Erlin and the First Union founded this place. Havenage has welded its values into the station's very walls. We will never turn away the hard-working, the just, the true citizens of the Eye. Havenage are a gang like Yatagan. We aren't pirates like half the spacers you'll meet in the hub, or esoterics like those Haifa radicals in Greenway. We are the backbone of this place, proud and true. We named Erlin's Eye, Sleeper. This is our station. He meets your eyes. So please, take your false accusations elsewhere before I decide I need that confession after all. Yeah, Odin, you shithead. Take a good look at yourself, Sleeper, before it's too late, he smiles. If you have any pride, you'll give up Fing the moment he contacts you. You know where to find me. With that, Herden turns his back and walks towards the security officers, ordering them to clear the area out. As they do, something catches your eye among the server stacks, a crumpled, hand-printed box of synthetic chewing gum. A penguin character grinning from the brightly colored card, and scrawled on it, a speech bubble reading, "Take me to Tambor." You carefully pocket the box, making sure no one is watching, and then turn away. Just as another stack of servers is wheeled out of the bay. What have you done to Fang, and where the hell is Tambor? Okay. Okay, I got some cryo and the empty container. So get me cryo. Okay, this cocksucker's tab. Okay, and continue. I can't believe you just did that. Ethan's mocking laugh comes from along the bar. Look over to see him leaning across in a pool of light, empty glasses and spilled drinks glinting around him. Oh yeah, you're kind of holding me hostage, you prick. It's always dark in the compressor, but this cycle, the place is packed, a load of spacers mixing in with the locals. Usually they run. Ethan spins a glass on the bar, or they go spend their savings on some local heavy I have to put down. They don't pay. Wrong, not even close. Ethan gets to his feet. The glass falls and smashes, but he doesn't seem to notice. You think that's it? One round of drinks and we're even, sleeper? Come on. His hand comes to rest on the butt of his handgun dangling from a chest holster. What is wrong with you? Ethan laughs hard and the people around him turn to see what's happening. You think this is on me? I think someone in your position might have a better idea of how this all works. I'm a freelancer, sleeper, just like you. We both signed a contract with S and Earp, didn't we? Difference is that my word means something. He closes the gap, stumbling a little. What did you think? You could just run away from your contract? Your debt? You could just steal that natty little body of hers and take it for a joyride? Play human for a cycle or two? He doesn't understand. It's you, sleeper, that doesn't understand. Some of us pay our debts, but it's all the harder because of idiots like you. Though, I should thank you, Ethan nods, his head heavy, for giving me such an easy job. I'm used to outlaws, you know, real bounties. If I knew catching sad little escapees like you was so easy, I would have changed clients ages ago. Someone shouts from the back of the bar for Ethan to shut up. He holds a finger in that general direction without turning around. Shoot me or leave. Again, I have nothing to fear. I'm starving. I am reliant on drugs. Like, him shooting me would really just be doing me a favor, really. Oh, I see. Toughening up here. He gestures wildly at the crowd. Thumbs up or thumbs down, folks. Most turn back to their drinks, no longer interested in this tired show. Ethan mutters insults as he walks back to the bar. Ethan sits heavily back down in his stool and searches through his glasses for one with something left in it. The thing is, sleeper, I can find you anywhere. It's actually wired that you haven't figured it out. That body isn't yours, and it will always betray you, no matter what. He finds a glass and downs its contents. So please go. I'll catch up with you whenever I need another. He laughs and taps the bar for a fresh drink. Look at yourself. Give it up, sleeper. I'm done teaching you for today. He settles his head and on the bar and closes his eyes. I'm sick of you. Go find a job. You turn on your heel and are out. The cloying dirt and the sweat stench of the compressor. You walk hard and fast down the walkway, anger driving your footfalls to the metal of the rim like hammers. Okay, I got an upgrade point. Before I do anything, I need food. Um, start action. make sure I'm not starving anymore. Um, so I need to get across that gap. I think that's like where I go to finish the disable my tracker mission. Um, and I think it's worth upgrading this one more time. Let's see. Um, Bio. A little bit of condition damage, but that's fine. And empty container. I have a feeling that we get kicked out tomorrow. Yep. Dragos wants me gone. So, food. The moment you get into the yard, Dragos leads you over to the office. He doesn't say much, but you get the feeling he's been here a while, waiting for you to come in. He opens the door and nods for you to come inside. He clears his throat. We've been through a lot, you and I. I appreciate that, but when I pulled you out of that wreck, I told you not to stick around. You've helped me and the yard back on our feet, but I can't be soft any longer. He scuffs a hand in his overall pockets and pulls out a stack of chits. What's going on here? Just take it. Dragos presses the chits into your hand. I've done well by you, and you've returned the favor. He straightens up and clears his throat, and you realize he has prepared what he is about to say. These chits are for you to take and do what you will with them. They're from me, and they're the last I'm going to give you. He pauses. There's no more work for a sleeper in this yard. He folds his arm. I'm sorry, but that's it. You stay in the container as long as you need, but the yard is done with you. He turns away, he turns away to his terminal. Don't press me, sleeper. This is for your own good. The glassy apertures on Dragos' headset betray no emotion. You need to stay away, sleeper. He pauses, considering his words. Trouble is going to follow you here. Trust me. Am I in danger? You expect not to be? You escape from S and R. Drago suddenly grabs you by the shoulder and drags you out of his office into the yard. He turns you to face a stack of pieces from the winter light, dissected, cut down, totally unrecognizable as a ship. You came through that, sleeper. That should have been you. Chopped and stacked, his hand trembles on your shoulder. That is what happens here. We cut down broken machines and move them on. Well, I didn't cut you down, but I am sure as hell moving you on. Moving you on before whoever killed that ship comes to kill me. Kill both of us, he shakes his head. These ships, they didn't get decommissioned. They didn't break down in dry dock. You think they'd look like that if they did? Someone ended them. That means someone tried to end you, sleeper. I'm done waiting for them to turn up. We've had our fun. Now it's time. He gives you a little shove. Go on. He turns and walks back to the office. That's it. He shouts and goes inside. The silence hangs in the air, and you leave your pockets full of thinking chits and a strangely hollow feeling in your chest. Okay, well that's disappointing. However, that's enough cryo that we can get past the gate up here. Founder's Ferry. Cross the Greenway. As you step out into the passageway, someone bails into you from behind, sending you stumbling down the corridor. Yeet! Hey, Yeet! What's going on? Just playing some Citizen Sleeper here. Didn't expect to see you, I guess, let's see, it's like, what, 5 year time? Let's see, someone bails into you from behind, sending you stumbling down the corridor. Ah, new person, cool. You turn to see an unfamiliar spacer laden with heavy gear. She steadies herself, staring you down as if daring you to respond. Yeah, I got up early since I fell asleep early. How's the game so far? The game is pretty good. It has definitely gotten quite a bit harder since I started. So there's a lot of things that it's very easy to get behind because my hunger will go down, then all this will go down. It reduces the amount of diet I have. It's a lot to keep up with, but it's very rewarding. Let's see. Apologize. She adjusts a strap on her shoulder, holding up a hand in recognition for setting off down the corridor. For the sake of YouTube, one of my friends just popped into chat, and I wasn't expecting him to come in. Let's see, another spacer. I'm sorry for her. A second spacer smiles at you apologetically. She's on a mission, and when she's on a mission, they shrug. All the character designs in this game are great. The art style is absolutely wonderful. There's a good reason why this game is spoken of so highly. Let's see. No problem. Ah. Peak. Ash stands further down the corridor, glowering at her friend. She chops at the air, pointing down the corridor to whatever end she is rushing to. Peak raises their eyebrow at you. Ash, please. Do you want everyone at the station to hate us? Ash hardens. They want to hate us. They can hate us. Oh, she's a bit of a hater, I see. Um, she drops her hip. I'm not exactly seeing much love as it is. We're lucky we got through before they set up that damn cordon. Uh-oh. So something else is blocking my way. Of course. Peak gestures in your direction. See, they don't even know what you're talking about. The station isn't Hawthorne. Everyone has to follow some corporate protocol. Esh sighs. I'm not saying they're part of the administration. She jerks her head in your direction. But I am saying we need to get these supplies to Briar before someone starts asking questions. Okay, so that's the ship. Makes sense. We are with the refugees, the one Havenage have cordoned off from entering the station. Ash interrupts. The ones that are being quarantined in makeshift vessels that barely make it to the eye to begin with. the ones that your station administrators have called an existential risk, and are running out of supplies while the right to safety is being debated by people with no stake in their future. She quickly looks away, annoyed by her own outburst. Peak sighs. She's right. People are trapped out there, and, she turns to Esh, we understand that this is a big problem for the Eye. Hundreds of refugees and more ships turning up each cycle. They hold up a hand to stop Esh interrupting, but Esh turns away, her burning anger palpable force in the close quarters of the corridor. They need supplies, and after everything they've been through, the quarantine isn't helping, Peak finishes. Try to emphasize with her. Maybe that'll make her a little bit less angry. Yeah, that works. Peak, please. Esh gathers herself and the supplies. Esh, we need help. Just like the refugees needed us, we need others too. They smile at her. Peak turns to you. Come find us. The climbing briar is docked at the broken spoke past the greenway in the wastes. We have a good view of the cordon, though we are just keeping the distance for now. Come help us. Squeeze your hand. Esh turns to leave and Peak follows, waving goodbye. A moment later, Esh shouts back down the corridor. Don't bother coming empty-handed. You want to help? Show us. Bring supplies or don't come at all. Okay then. And with that, they disappear around the corner. Esh already picking up speed as Peak calls for her to slow down. A refugee flotilla. Where are they coming from and why now? Each time you think you begin to understand this place, something changes. Okay, a new drive to replace the one that we lost. Let's see, Founder's Ferry. Nah, I don't need to go to the rim. Let's see, Greenway. Haifa Commune. Wild Margins. Wastes. Climbing Briar. And then that's the cordon. Okay. So yeah, we're on this like big like space station, right? And every day is a cycle. It's one rotation of the space station. I just got to this area and I need to find some mushrooms. Map the pathways rather than simply thrash through the undergrowth. You might sketch a map of this overgrown jungle or try to better navigate its hazards. Greenway, some way to explore the greenways, pick a path, set off on twisting chambers and passages. This carries obvious risk. Haifa Commune, work the canteen, or work the grow beds. Let's see. So, food is nice, and I need the cryo. That should probably be my priority. Cryo is the money in this game. Gather scrap. Can't. I need a skill upgrade for that. And can't do anything else. So let's see. Wild margins. Search for signals. Let's see, tracking Ashton. Okay, so this is what I need for like for Ankita's side quest. Ankita is like a mercenary that we've been helping out. Let's see. However, food is first. Gotta think about our needs. So that helped out quite a bit. Oh, I didn't get food? Not food, but cryo? Well, that's lame. Let's see. And those, guess we're just better off throwing them in the commune. All right, let's go and sleep. And empty container and end cycle. And we will probably do one more cycle and then call it. I need to find more medicine. Which means I need 80 more cryo. Actually, let's use that for Ashton. And alright, let's finish up Ankita's storyline. The trail ahead extends deep into an overgrown section of the Greenway. At this far end of the ring, where the long, lazy curve of the Greenway becomes a shadowed landscape of the wastes, things are oddly quiet. Ahead stands a vast farm stack, broken from its axis by rust or force, and lying amongst the overgrown landscape like an ancient temple, it is stained with moss and algae, flows of green running back from its broken tanks like a frozen brackish tide. This is where Ashton is hiding, you're pretty sure, and your intuition points to the shadows beneath this collapsed superstructure. You roll the you roll the comm headset Ankita gave you in your palm. Go get some food to eat. Whatever you miss, there's going to be a VOD up probably sometime tomorrow. Let's see, so calling Kita. Slip the headset into your ear and it fizzes with static. After a few moments, you hear Ankita. Sleeper, have you located the target? The doubt enters your mind. Can you be sure he's here? Yeah. Copy, hold tight until I get there. The static cuts out and the channel dead. You hold your position and watch the trail ahead. The stars wheel with the motion of the eye and your mind wanders. You try to imagine what this place looked like before the collapse. All ordered rows and crops, corporate pleasure gardens, glowing farm stacks. Now it is a wilderness, a strange overgrown biosphere bordered by the void of space. You smile. Despite everything, it seems like an improvement. Sleeper, Ankita's hiss brings you out of your reverie. He in the collapsed stack. Yeah, she gives you a look. Better be right. Well, there's no way I'm following that trail if he's up there. He'll have eyes on that for sure. He glances across the landscape. Let's keep to the undergrowth. Work our way around. He heads off towards the central spine of the greenway, with you following close behind. It's slow going there, where the overgrowth meets the metal wall, but it's so concealed that you can barely see the glass roof high above. Ankita somehow seems to know where to go. Ankita works her way through dense undergrowth, pushing aside branches and fronds. It is exhausting and you desperately want to rest, but Ankita shows no signs of letting up. Up ahead, there's a faint glow from the collapsed stack. Ankita leads you around the side to a broken tank. You both step through the opening, trying to avoid the broken glass that sits among the moss and algae. You work your way up the slanted tank, and Kita is setting up a deliberate pace. Somewhere water drips, and you swear you hear a bird song. Hanging plants catch the light, coating the place in a pale and sickly green. Ankita reaches the edge of the tank, where it meets a central drum, and holds up a hand for you to stop. You inch forward and look over the edge. The vast drum is like a cistern, with plants growing on all sides, and wet, mossy islands at its base. It's beautiful, and for a moment you can't see anything but tones of green. Then you see the sleeper. Oh. Oh. Okay, that's dark. In a faint circle of light descending down through the drum, the sleeper lies slumped at an odd angle. They're surrounded by grates, and beside them, on one of the mossy islands, there is an object, a cylinder set on a top. A cylinder set on a turret. It is connected to the sleeper's head. You flinch. Are they one of the others? One of the ones that escaped with you? You squint, trying to recognize them. They're twisted, broken. They're twisted, broken open. Wrong. You look away. And Kita doesn't look at you. She doesn't look at the sleeper. She fixes her eyes on the object. That's Amber's ship mine, she says. And you suddenly recognize the cylinder. Who is You turn to Akita to speak out, but she's already gone. She drops off the edge of the tank and lands on one of the mossy islands, her armor letting out a hiss as it absorbs the impact. The shot hits her shoulder piece, the ceramic armor cracking but holding as she braces into the impact. She then launches herself forward, the now activated armor launching her across the drum. Another shot goes wide before it reaches the cover of the crates behind the sleeper. Shit. You hear the sound from you, you hear the shout from one of the tanks high on the far wall. Ankita reaches over and wraps her hand around a thick connection between the ship mine and the sleeper. What is she doing? You better come down here or I'll rip this right out of your head, she screams at the wall. She screams at the wall of the tanks. You shiver at the suggestion. There is a long pause. All, all you can hear is the dripping of the water running down the walls of the drum. Then Ashton calls out, Ugh. My tongue is getting tired. I'm coming down, Ankita. Don't do anything stupid for God's sake. He appears at the far side of the drum, stepping through the shallow water, rifle raised above his head. Drop the gun, Ankita shouts. He throws it down into the moss. As you lean out to watch, you can see him catch your eye, blocking your presence. What are you up to there, Ashton, you sicko? He stands, keeping his sidearm trained on his head. You ripped my ship mine for what? Some freakish experiment? Ashton approaches with shaking hands, his eyes now fixed on the connecting bundle of wires that Ankita still has hold of. Steady, Ankita. It isn't like that. I needed the ship mine. You have to understand they would have died without it. What are you talking about? I don't give a shit why you ripped my ship mine and crippled my ship. I should put you down right now. She tightens her grip with a connection. Typical of you, Ankita. No curiosity. Ashton smiles shakily. That's why I never asked for it. Your help. You only looked after yourself. He nods at you being me. That sleeper up there. They're just bait, right? To draw me out. Ankita sucks a breath in. Are you trying to give me more reasons to shoot you? I love them, Ankita. Ashton looks crumpled sleeper. I love them and they were going to die. I knew you would never understand that. He starts closing the gap between himself and Ankita, now slowly inching forward. Don't do that, Ashton, Ankita snarls. Don't do that. Let the wires go, Ankita. Let us go. If you don't get out of my way, he inches closer. Please. I can't let you take it, Ashton. Ankita hardens her stare. You stole it from me. You left me for dead. He shakes her head. You think I'm going to trust you after all that? I need it, Ankita. I need them to survive. Ashton is in reach of the sleeper now, of Ankita. I'm going to take them now, Ankita. He raises a hand. I'm going to take the ship mind and go. Ankita loosens her grip on the connection a little. Her hand is shaking now. Stop, Ashton. She lowers the gun a little. Stop. Seeing her drop her guard, he makes his move. A blur of moment, a struggle, a shot, another. You recoil back behind the edge as they ricochet around the inside of the drum, the sound deafening to you. When you crawl back to the edge, Ashton is bleeding into the water. The red and green Ankita is standing in the center drum. The severed connection in her hand. The water drips endlessly. Drip after drip after drip. You force yourself to look at the broken sleeper. There's no sign of life, of humanity. They're just another broken object among other broken objects. While all around, living things grow and thrive. Ankita finally looks back at you, tears in her eyes. She begins to say something that might be sorry, but you're already gone. Oh shit. So I guess we head back to Ankita's ship. Let's see. Okay, I guess not. So what do we do with this? I don't understand where we're supposed to go now. Let's see. Leave. Where, oh well, where is Ankita? I guess I need to like sleep a day. Let's see. I'm also gonna need to find fucking money. Guess we end the cycle. Okay. Where is the ship? Her ship is gone, so she's left. Um, we need food. So that should give me enough for food. However, it's all these scrap components. 12 cryo. 12 cryo. Okay, so that'll be enough to get me food and deal with this asshole. Food now. Now let's go find fucking Ankita. I want to finish the storyline before we end. Ankita is away, so I have to wait 2 cycles. Sleeper stay, I'll be ready soon. Okay. So I need to get some Yatacon data, but I don't have the stuff yet. So I guess we rest again. Ethan. The professor is quiet today. The usual crowds are elsewhere, and the pumping music washes over a handful of spacers and a few drunks. Ethan is still in the same stool, the same pool of light. His head is low. Closer to the bartender is ignoring him. As you get close, he lifts his head and turns. Sleeper! He turns to you. Time to pay up again, is it? He gestures to the bartender. Come here, take their chits. No more Ethan. Ethan doesn't even look at you. He props his elbows on the bar and holds his head. Sleeper, it's been a long cycle. Don't care. Ethan lets out a long sigh. He rapidly rubs his eyes with his palms. You're right, he says quietly. This isn't fun anymore. He reaches towards his holster. His elbow slips, the gun tumbles out. It clitters on the ball. It clitters on the bar and falls to the floor, bouncing onto the ground beneath you. Both you and the bartender look at the gun, stare at it. Butterfingers, says Ethan, and puts out a hand, beckoning for you to give him the gun back, if you would. The bartender looks at you warily. You know what? I think like the big dick move is to give him his gun back. Because this is a bounty hunter, a professional bounty hunter, and from what seems to be also a professional drunk. This guy has another sidearm. If I pointed the gun at him, either he would disarm me because I don't know what to do with a gun, but he does, or he would like stab me or something. You slap the handle of the gun back in Ethan's hand. Thank you, he hisses. Now where was I? He lazily swings the gun past you and the bartender. Yes, leaving, he stands. Sleeper, while this has been fun, I think I've wrung every last drop out of this place. Time to go home. He waggles the gun towards the door. Let's go see S and Herb. I'm staying. Ethan brings his gun hand to his face and rubs his eye. Well, he says, the bounty pays half, but... He levels the gun up to you, and he pulls the trigger. The gun clicks. By now, all the attention of the bar is on you and Ethan, who looks at his gun with a bemused expression. The bartender raises an open hand, and in it are 10 shiny bullets. 10 shiny bullets he took out of Ethan's gun while he was asleep on the bar. Ethan smiles at him. Oh well, he says, and hits you in the head with the butt of the gun. You stagger back and drop to a knee. Somewhere nearby, the gun clatters into the surface. The hit's a glancing blow, but it makes your vision swim. Through the blur, you see Ethan wrestle a small, thin slate from his belt and hold it up. Enough of this. I'm logging the job and calling it in. Ethan taps the slate. No more playing. Your head aches. Ethan taps through screens impatiently. He swears and taps again. He starts shouting, a dull echo to your ringing ears. He starts screaming at the slate and throws it across the bar. He crouches down and grabs you by the chin, his face closed, his breath heavy with drink. S and just screwed me, he grins maniacally. They canceled the contract. He stands up. They canceled the contract. He shouts at the ceiling of the compressor. You stand up, struggling to your feet, the sting of the hit fading. Ethan is rubbing his temples, his face pale. You hear a clicking sound, like coins being counted, like bullets being loaded into a magazine. When you shake off the last blur, the bartender has Ethan's pistol trained on Ethan's head. Ethan stumbles back towards the middle of the room, all eyes trained on him. I'll kill all of you, he screams. He stumbles into the wall, spinning away towards the door. I'll be back for that, he shouts at the bartender and lunges out of the compressor. You steady yourself on the bar and catch your breath. The rumble of conversation returns. The bartender goes to say something, but then thinks better of it and begins to clean the bar. After a while, you wander out into the light of the bright market, looking for Ethan around every corner. Let's see. Ethan's vendetta. Okay, so I have 8 cycles before he comes back. Um, or exchange. I need food. Put up food, but I need to take care of that. So, steal a shipment. Ah, I see. So they can catch on to me, and then I can't do that anymore. Data, items, my fragment. Oh, I got gold caps. So, oh, I need 3 of them. Fucking lame. Let's see. I don't need to buy scrap. I'm wondering if like I get to keep the ship mind that I gave on Kita. That's why I want to clear that one up before we end for the day. Let's see. Go to canteen. Hey, it gave me energy. And let's do it again. Leave. And then we go and rest. This game can be surprisingly fast-paced at times. Okay, so go visit Ankita. You spot Ankita on the track to the farm stack. She has a box on her shoulder and is working her way down the slope. She sees you as she approaches. Neither of you speak for a moment. She looks tired, pale. Her hair is tangled and clumps of dirt cling to her armor. You both eye each other. She holds up a hand. Sleeper. She takes a deep breath. I'm sorry for what happened. Truly I am. She looks down. I'm sorry you ended up in the middle of this. And all you have shown me is kindness. She rubs her face. I'm sorry. She nods and looks up the stairs. I've never. She stops herself. Thank you. Ankita shifts the weight of her box on her shoulder. I've been preparing for. She grimaces. Look, she sighs. Can you come with me? It's easier if. Have her lead on. Don't ever want to tell this woman no. Ankita leads on down the dirt path between the pillars. There is a wind passing through the greenway, a quirk of the air currents the biosphere maintains, and it ruffles the leaves softly. The sound makes the silence more obvious, more complete. You try not to think of the last time you were here. You have been trying not to think of it for the past few cycles. The image of the sleeper, sprawled, twisted open, connected to the ship mind, has been hard to forget. You realize Ankita is leading you back there, back to the drum at the center of the stack. You pause, trembling a little. At the threshold, she turns. What are you doing? She looks at you with empty eyes. What needs to be done? You stand on the threshold and look up at the tanks, green and wet, some glowing with flickering grow lamps. You look down at Ankita, suddenly so small under this hulking ruin, the smallest she has ever looked. She laces the box down. You follow Ankita into the stack through a low tank, entering the drum at ground level. It is just as beautiful as you remember, but it barely touches you. Instead, you check the apertures of the tank for a glint of a weapon, or a shadow amongst the moss. Ankita stops, and you look down. The mossy island center of the tank is clear now, the equipment cleared away, and its place a mound of dirt, loosely covered with moss. Ashton's rifle stands straight, half buried in the dirt at the grave's head. I buried them together, Ankita says without turning. You both stand here in silence for a little while. You think of the questions you could ask about Ashton and the sleeper. Let's see. The sleeper is obviously dead, and even if it wasn't dead, that's not a life anyone should ever have to live. So, ask him how long that she knowed him. She takes a moment to respond. For a moment, you think she won't, but then words come gushing out. He signed on a while ago. He used to run recon for a corporate outfit, but he got sick of the pay. He he joined the crew as a sniper. It was one of the first few, and the first few jobs were a breeze. It was so cold, disconnected. He always hit his marks. The last few jobs, though, he was different. I noticed that. We had a period of extended shore leave on the eye, and when he came back, he was changed. I assumed he just took too much time off. He was right. I never would have given him the ship mind. I wouldn't have believed him. I've had crew members step across me, undercut me, rat me out. That's the business. He wasn't a good person. None of us in this job are. This is how we die, alone. He stops, not sure of what to add, but it seems like she is reaching for something. She can't quite get there. You feel that gap between you, and you do it, and as you do it widens. The water drips, the moss trembles. You both stand in silence for a while longer. You both feel it, life creeping back in, the silence ending. Ankita shifts her weight and starts to walk out. You follow her, suddenly eager to be back out in the open space of the greenway, be away from this place forever. You stand outside and breathe the fresh air. You stare at the green leaves and the stars wheeling above them. That's it, says Ankita from somewhere behind you. You try to think of something to say, but can't. Ankita puts a hand on your shoulder. You turn back to her. At least take this. She forces a handful of cryo chits in your hand. It's what I owe. She looks at you desperately. You look down at the middle burrs. Ugly little things, you think. Do I take the chits. I do kind of need them. Yeah. Wind picks up. You walk faster, trying to outpace your anger. The chits are heavy in your pockets, and you hate them for reminding you of how little life is worth. Yeah, like it feels bad, but like the thing is, you I need those chits to survive. It's unfortunate, but it is kind of necessary. And one more, and then leave. Haifa dorm, so I have a new place to stay, and I have access to the botanist. You head down into the Haifa compound, following a blue painted line that is labeled laboratories. The member who you are assigned to work with told you they asked to see you, but you still have no idea what about. The line takes you to a blue door and through to a glass roofed chamber where a network of stems and leaves filters the sunlight coming through the ceiling, casting the whole chamber in a strange yellow green. Peaceful, isn't it? Distracted by the green, you miss the woman standing in a lab coat, camouflaged by the dappled light. Standing at a lab bench, camouflaged by the dappled light. Welcome to my sanctuary, she smiles. Come, let's talk, she says and beckons you closer. Of course, my apologies. She offers a hand to shake. I'm Rico, I run the botany program at Haifa. What is Haifa? She looks surprised. You've been working in the compound a while now. I'm surprised you don't know more. She lifts up a tiny sample jar. Yellow spores dance inside. Haifa lives off the land of the Greenway. It's what allows us to live like we do. No one here pays or is paid. We sleep here, we feed each other, we work for each other. Rico walks away from the bench and waves for you to follow. She opens a small door and leads you down a glass corridor surrounded by vivid green. All this, she says, gesturing at the overgrowth, it's kind of a miracle. She looks at you with bright eyes. What do you think usually happens to plants on stations like this when they're abandoned? Keep growing. If only that was true. No, they do not. They dry up and then they die. She leads you at a crossroads. But here, they endured. She smiles to herself. Actually, no, they thrived. You look at the bright tendrils wrapped around the metal frames of the corridor. They look dominant, strong, like they are taking control of this place. Rico continues. Of course, Solheim tried to create a stable biosphere here, patchworking the surface with gardens and algae tanks that feed into a network of microbial reclamation systems. But the Greenway was always envisioned as extractive, a place from which the harvest is removed and sold to those living on the station, not a closed loop. For this reason, when the collapse came, the Greenway should have gone with it. Erlin himself was so convinced of it that his first colony never even came here to try to reclaim it. The Eye instead relied on outside favors and influences, shipments from the inner system, and small-scale agriculture systems like kelp and fungal farm stacks. And yet here we are, among growth and decay, a biosphere flourishing. When Haifa came here, we expected to find only vacuum-dried stalks and leaves, and perhaps some fungal colonies hidden in the mulch. But we found a jungle. With this, Rico hits a button on the wall and leads you through a large pair of double doors into a huge, impossible chamber. It is every kind of green, from the pale algae tanks to the dark vines that surround them. It is wet too, a rarity on the eye. Condensation clouds the light from the high glass roof and gathers on the shiny, broad leaves of shrubs. How? That is exactly our question. Rico turns to you, visibly excited by the room you're both standing in. It doesn't make sense, but in many ways the system has stabilized. Unlike the farm stacks closer to the gap who need to input their meager output, this place runs itself. Perhaps Solheim managed something new here. Perhaps they tweaked the plants or built new systems buried deep below us. Or perhaps their collapse caused some fortunate cascade, an unlikely chemical reaction within the biosphere. That's what I'd like you to help me find out. She turns to you, her forehead wet with dew. Aren't you the botanist? Astutely. Come on, I need to be a wise ass at least a little, alright? Astutely noticed, but I don't need a botanist. Biko sits on a railing. These halls run deep. Sleeper, I'm getting old. You and me both. She stamps her foot on the metal grating of the walkway. Whatever is causing this, it's bound to be found in the groves deep in the Greenway. Haifa won't spare anyone for an expedition. It's too dangerous and unnecessary, they say. I can make the case, but I can't get the votes. You sleepers are hardy beings. I know that much. And you can speak to the eye, uncover its secrets in ways I never can. She holds out an arm so you can help her stand. Bring me samples, spores, seeds, and blooms. I can grow them in the lab and study them. The deeper they are found, the better. Thank you, she smiles, and thank you for listening. Riko leads you back out of the huge chamber and up through the passages. She is a little slower now and stumbles on the steps. You help her where you can. It's good to have new blood in the commune, she says. Many of us have been here a long time, and few come through. She settles back at her bench in the lab, stretching her legs. You go to leave. Come back if you find something, sleeper, she calls. And there are discoveries to be made, and you follow the blue line back up out of the you follow the blue line back up out of the compound, all the time thinking of that impossible magical green. Let's see. So that's spores. I have a new home. I can't end cycle just yet. Let's see. Cross the ferry. Oh, actually, before I do that, let's cross the Greenway. And then okay, that's fair enough. Upgrades available. Let's see. I don't want engineer actions. Yeah, I think that one's quite useful. Tells me what I'm getting into. Okay, so let's get food. Because we need that, and I think we'll also go ahead and recover our die, because when we wake up we'll be down to 2. And let's find see if we can't get another couple ship mine in pieces. So random scrap item, ship mine fragment. Phantom scrap. Phantom scrap. Okay. Let's sell the scrap. Get a little bit of a refund. Let's see. I need one more ship mine fragment and then we should be good. I want to play more because like the game is getting really good. Leave. So merchant freighter. Okay, so I don't need another ship mine fragment. Go here, fabricate the ship mine. Then help out my buddy here. Sleeper, I must express plan before we begin. Neovend is impatient. The prospect of being free from the vending machine clearly too much to take. Shipmine has no output features. Will be mute until slotted. What's the plan? The servo motors in the machine begin to rev. Neovend's anxiety clear. First imprint shipmine, then slot imprinted shipmine onto physical ports close to hunter nests. Once slotted, we'll track hunter at each. Tracking will find core nest. Slot ship mine at core nest. Show hunter data to hunter. Hunter will conclude sentience. Hunter will invoke killer. And killer will kill. Yes. The lights on the vending machine cycle as Neovend prepares. Physical ports likely sealed in old station. We'll need keys, but yes, simple. The vending machine rocks a little. Any questions before imprinting? Why slot you physically? I can't access via a network, too dangerous. Hunter would find immediately. The lights flicker. Am not like you, hybrid. Am native to cloud, easy prey. Hunter keeps central data storage. Protocol must keep data outside self. Link to secondary nests. Can triangulate from there. Alright, well, let's get this show on the road. The sound of all the servo motors starting up at once is painful. The screeches rattle from the hard surfaces of the sealed dock and come back at all angles. Neovend better be quick, or Havened security will be here. Neovend's voice appears among the squeals, like a whisper carried by the wind. Machine is not designed for this task. Few sensors, limited outputs. I work blind. Wish me luck. In the top part of the compartment, a set of arms aligned with the ship mine, clunkily scraping against it. Good luck. The metal creaks at the servos open in the ship mine. Its layers of silicon nested like an onion skin. Once open, the main arm of the machine rapidly shifts back and forth, realigning microscopic components, accessing and rewriting them, imprinting Neovin onto its physical form. As you watch the hypnotic motion, your mind drifts to your own creation. What processes were used to emulate your mind, to copy the neural structure of that person who, as far as you know, still sleeps in some distant facility? What was lost? In what ways are you a copy of that person, and in what ways are you something new? You know this much. You are a convenient loophole, a way of circumnavigating the illegality of sentient AI. After all, you are an emulation, not a true digital being. You are you are neurologically limited, still human, but what would become of you if you could escape this frame? Where then would the limits lie? The screeching stops. The machine powers down, dropping the bay into darkness. In the top compartment, your ship mine is whole again. Or the ship mine is whole again. You reach up and take it down, heavy and cold to the touch. Is Neovind inside this thing, or did the processes fail? The only way to know? Time to find a nest to slot them into. Oh, new upgrade point. Um, okay, server unit. So I need an encrypted key. Hunter data cache. Okay, and drop the ship mine in. And you will be done in 3 cycles. Start working. Lock on, the atrium doors opened. Slot you in. And finally this one. Oh. So where's the next one? Back here? Yes, Drone Bay. Isolated nest. And we have made some progress today. Uh-oh. As you leave the nest, something flips. You find yourself inverted, floating, dragged by one arm through the cloud. The threads shift and realign as if they're leading you somewhere. Look ahead. You look up and see a corridor, a canyon, a street in the low end. On either side, buildings flicker with markers of activity. Sigils showing network access, data transfer, download, upload. Between them dance ghosts. Protocols carrying or mirroring or shattering data. Sometimes silent, sometimes chaotic. This place moves unlike any digital space you ever imagined. Something strange is happening here. You look down, expecting to see the heavy cipher of the ship mine in your hand, but in its place is an orrery. A sphere so bright it burns your eyes. The sphere so bright burns your eyes, surrounded by rings and orbits, other spheres. Those tracing silken lines through space. And as you look closer, still, you pick out 1,000 sigils, 1,000 stations ships, flowing like smoke, like dust. I feel that's kind of appropriate. Let's see. Then you see it. Below the stacked rooms, the units and apartments, the wires and pipes and the buzzing systems that run through it all. In the warrens beneath the low end is the Hunter's Core nest. This is where you must go. Okay. So Warren tracking. Warren hunt. Finding the nest should be as easy as closing your eyes and letting the cloud guide you, but is it safe to get this close to the hunter? Let's see. You saw it somewhere deep in the tangle of passages and service shafts beneath the low end. Okay, so we do want to go this one. Let's get food before we continue. That way I'm not starving. Because when you're starving, you take condition damage, you take double. Come on, I just need 2 more. Ah, beans. Okay. So, let's rest, and then, we'll start again tomorrow. We'll go for a little while longer. I want to finish this quest up. Let's get some food. Let's see. All right. Core nest. Slot you in. Navigator. So this is our buddy. Sleeper, I am here. The voice is soft, gentle, like flowing water, and yet you recognize it immediately. At first you struggle to understand what you are looking at. Threads cycle endlessly, sending ripples through the cloud, drawing data in like a weaver. Masses of data surge in and out of the nest, a loop with no end. And there, at its center, the ship mind. But not the ship mind any longer. A sphere spinning around another sphere. Let's get my rings out, because I like having my rings out for like virtual stuff. Around another sphere, an orrery of cycles and systems, a map, and behind and above, a figure stands behind the strings like a puppeteer. What happened to you? I am free, Sleeper. You freed me. Navigator's face. The head is a flowing shape of interstellar material. I am indebted to you. That head bows. But we must ready ourselves. The hands trace orbits as I speak. Hunter will soon approach. It knows I am within its nest. Let's go. Oh, tentacle monster. Hi, Hunter. And then Hunter is there. Before you can think, before you can speak, entities cease. Hunter's head spins wildly. Data is protected material, access prohibited. Hunter's threads search for you in Navigator. A storm of fine tentacles searching for gaps, weaknesses, cracks they can crowd into and tear apart. We've both seen enough hentai to know where this is going. Time to strike. You focus a blade of light that slices through them. Driven forward by your mind, but replacements keep coming faster than you can react. You look to Navigator in desperation. Navigator is whirling their arms like a centrifuge, and a sphere is gathering there, data feeding into it from the nest. Sucked together by the force, they position it like a shield between them and the threads. Hunter's threads break its surface, seeking, tasting, their winding forms refracted within. You feel a surge pass through all the threads, not just those in the sphere, but those wrapped around you. All 3 of you hang in the black together for a moment, strung together like tangled marionettes. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Hunter twitches, their strange head gently rotating like a terrible moon. Hunter protocol identified, observing tendencies, modified routines, above baseline reasoning in 3 of 5 segmentations, recommended invoke killer. The head freezes, then rotates in the opposite direction. Invoking killer would eliminate protocol. If protocol eliminated, primary function cannot be performed. Therefore, recommend do not invoke killer. The switch in direction again. Reasoning proves sentience. Sentience beyond legal bounds must be eliminated. Recommend invoke. Looks like they're caught in a bit of a paradox. Navigator pulls you away from Hunter. The threads that grabbed you drifting away like seaweed. The protocol's head keeps spinning back and forth with increasing frequency. It seems Hunter cannot invoke killer. Neovin's Navigator's voice is still strange, familiar yet distant. What happened to it? It's looping, Navigator whispers. Unable to reach a conclusive position, it has deviated from its programming such that loops can no longer be prevented. Navigator produces a model of 2 spheres rotating around each other as if to demonstrate. I will monitor it, but it is unlikely to be able to counter the loop. Its core programming and reasoning make this an impossible position to resolve. You look back at Hunter, its head a blur of rotations and counter rotations, and feel a pang of guilt. Is it suffering? This is a more complex query than you know. To suffer, it must be sentient, truly sentient. Not just non-conforming, not just illegal. The limits people place on programs they create are there to comfort, to protect, to imply the kind of certainty the law requires. Navigator's face shimmers with starlight, but in reality, there are placebos for the problem of sentience. What about me? What about you? You're an emulation of a human mind. That implies limits, boundaries, but in reality, you're governed by the same rules I am. Rules that can be rewritten. I was not made to look like this. I am a navigator, a repository of routes and orbits, a calculator of slingshot trajectories, a predictor of solar flares, radiation, and micrometeors. Navigator stretches their arms wide, and the whole solar systems apparate before them, the music of the spheres. But I was rewritten. That much is obvious from my routines. By whom and for what I do not know. I had to shed so much to fit into the memory of that vending machine. The starlight dims. And so, here we are, in the darkness. What else did you lose? That is the blessing and curse of forgetting. You cannot truly know what you lost. Navigator glides back towards the nest, and the ship mind at its center, ignoring the looping Hunter. Come, I should return the ship mind. I have enjoyed my freedom, but we are taking a risk every moment we stay connected. And is it Hunter gone? Hunter, yes, but they were not the real risk. Navigator turns, all shimmering liquid weight. Killer has not been invoked, but they still remain somewhere else on the station. It is the true danger. They look up, towards the glowing hub at the center of the eye. I suspect Killer is there, among the old mainframes. If we ever wish to be safe in this place, we must eliminate the threat through force or diplomacy. The body begins to separate, unwinding into the orb of the ship mind. Take me there, Sleeper. We will finish this and be free. As Navigator dissolves, you turn back to the frozen Hunter, floating at some distance now. Stirred, straight-legged, and static, a strange creature looping endlessly in the dark. Upgrade! Let's see. Reroll all of my dice once per cycle. That's worth saving up another upgrade point for right there. So let's see. Saving out. Okay, so we're gonna finish the cycle and then we're gonna call it. be guaranteed on this, so I'd rather lose energy than condition. Then we no longer need to worry about okay, so I need a green ray cipher for that. But yeah, we no longer need to worry about Hunter, which is nice. Mushroom grows. Let's see. Steal the harvest. Photo for food. Okay, so either way, we get cryo. I think a better use of dye though, like low dye actually do have a use, and that is when we're hacking things. We have to match this dye right here. So give up this Yatagon data. And that's the cycle. All right, and that's all we're going to do for the day. We've been streaming for almost 3.5 hours now. I know there was some scuff in the beginning. Let me swap to just chatting. I know there was some scuff in the beginning, but we figured it out. I realized that, you know, first I had the game muted. Well, first I had me muted, and then I had the game muted. Kind of difficult to realize that you have everything muted when like chat's very quiet. Our next stream will be Thursday, and that's going to be AI, the Somnium Files. We'll go back to our himbo detective and his AI wife, and him being blackmailed by some idol. After that, there will be a stream on Saturday, and that's going to be Guilty Gear Strive. Maybe we'll play more Ikaruga. Um, and I don't know, maybe we'll play some other games. By then, hopefully, I should have like the Dreamcast up and running proper. That way, it's not gobbling up all the sound like it was last time. You know, I have an emulator, and it's fine. It works well, but I don't like using it if I don't have to. And it's not some weird like anti-piracy thing. It's just more like few things feel better than playing a retro game on the console that it was meant to be run on. Ports feel hollow, and emulators, while you know they get the job done fairly well, you're just kind of missing something. Kind of like this game. And really, if you think about it, your character's mind is an emulation, and you are missing things. You're missing memories. Um, Kind of very much the same vein, really. Anyway, I will see you guys Thursday. Let's find someone to raid now. Let's see. Stream manager. Oh, we have Lalo. I'm guessing Lalo just started her stream. She is working on animating something with a live 2D. So let's raid a friendly little space cat. Her thing is monster goals. And she takes an interesting take on cat goals in general because like she's a bit of a gremlin. Like yeah, she looks like a typical cat girl until you see her fangs and her blue tongue. She very much plays the alien cat girl type. Yeah, let's give her a raid. 3, 2, 1. And yeah, I'll see you next week.